Cathleen Miner is in the house to help us shift our perception, which we all need, because if we're going to have wealth in any manner, it all starts with consciousness. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's awesome to be here.
So tell us a little bit about this 30-day self-perception.
So 30-day self-perception makeover, because everything we do is based on ourselves, right? The base is what we think of ourselves. So I always like to use the example, if I wake up and go downstairs in the morning and I'm cranky, guess what's gonna happen? What is everybody gonna say to me when I get downstairs? It's probably not gonna be, oh my gosh, how are you today? It's gonna sort of be like, okay, I can feel it. Because they can all feel energy, especially mom's energy. Oh, we all have a mom. We know what mom's energy is like. So, and for me, gosh, we all have a story. And I always like to say, the older we get, the more story we have, True. But, so I had an eating disorder in high school. And I was raised by amazing parents. So it's not like, I have this story about all of that. And I just have to say, my mom was 15 when I was born. My dad was 17. They're still together. They're just some of the most amazing people. But I didn't feel great about myself. I let a lot of the outside world dictate what I felt about me.
Yeah, it's easy to do that.
It is. And of course, I didn't realize that's what I was doing at that time. And then I got pregnant right after high school and had hyperemesis. We could be here all day with the story, but I'll just kind of get to it. And I got married, I had 2 children, and then I was divorced. So I was a single mom of 2, and I started thinking, I had a job, so I was grateful that I had a job, but I was lucky to have $5 left at the end of every paycheck. And so I was working more than one job. I was working 3. And I started to realize that the things that were growing in my life were the things that I was paying attention to, whether it was good or not so good. And then I was like, okay, there's something to this now. So I kind of started experimenting with myself on, okay, what do I think about me? And let me really not only love myself, because loving yourself and self-love, I think, is different than self-perception. I always think of self-love as, doing things for yourself and things like of that nature, self-care, things like that. Self-perception is, what do I really think about myself? So I love to look in the mirror. One of the things I say is, look in the mirror, and we all have something we love about ourselves. Look at your eyes, look at something. So this came about through years of also one of my second jobs when I had my full-time job was personal training women. And because I wanted to stay in shape after an eating disorder, I wanted to know how to live a healthy life the right way, and not because that doesn't, anybody out there that's had an eating disorder knows that it's intense and it's something that can always play in the back of your mind. And so you really have to work inwards. And so I was personal training women, and I was noticing for myself as well that it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. If you don't really love yourself on the inside and really think that you rock, it doesn't matter, because you could have somebody could tell you have the most awesome body ever. Oh my God, look at that. And if you don't feel good inside, it doesn't matter. You're still going to go home and you're not going to feel great.
It's so interesting, because in spiritual work, it's all about the shift of the identity. That's the entire work. It's awakening to the I am identity, and that's really the perception. So if they're in your program, 30 days, what are the actual processes that you take them through?
So the book is set up so that you do one thing a day, and it also incorporates journaling, because I'm a big advocate of journaling. There are tons of different kinds, but in this one, we really dive into you. So you can do the way you're supposed to do it, but you could do it anyway. Meaning you could skip a day if you need to, but if you did the 30 days, you would do one day, and it's only like a short page and a half, and then it tells you something to journal. It doesn't tell you what to journal, it has you dig inward to journal. And then by the end, you really do shift your self-perception. And like I said, I've gathered all this information. I've been doing this for over 26 years, which is amazing to me that much time has gone by. But I do have 4 children. And another reason why I'm really passionate about this is that I wanted my children to realize that they can do anything and this world is limitless. My oldest child will be 27, and then I have 2 of them are here, and the one is 24, and I homeschool the 2 younger ones. And the thing I love about that is I feel like I can teach them all of those things. Teach them that the outside world, your ego self, doesn't have to run your life. But they do one day at a time, and it takes 30 days. Now, I'm not saying this is a one and done thing. We always have to recheck in, right? Because our ego selves will start to take over. So I say, like, every 6 months, do it again. Check back in. this is daily work. And, you know, I want to speak to what they were saying before, the other guests that you have, which were amazing, is the detox thing. You know, my husband's a physician where it's a very busy time and for everybody in this world, but they're right on it, you know, because not only do we have to take care of our self-perception and our insides spiritually, but we have to deal with what we're here with physically as well.
What do you say to people? Because, you know, sometimes in life, I was raised in a very healthy family too, so just like you.
Yeah.
You know, life has this way of sometimes derailing you, whether it's the way that, you know, and sometimes it's from outside people, your experiences, and it can really, really brutalize your self-perception. And then one day you wake up and your life is falling apart, you don't know why, and you know, suffer from depression and all these things, and you have to really somehow fight to get that faith back and that perception of your self-confidence back and know who you are when you come out the other end. But how do you coach somebody through something like that?
You know, everybody's obviously unique and different, but what I usually like to start with is just ask them what they think about themselves. It's just a simple question. Because once you really dig into what you really think about yourself and really let it all out on paper, then we can start shifting those and switching it over. And then finding those hidden limiting beliefs and blocks that the outside world has made us believe, which isn't even true, right? Another thing I'd like to mention when you're talking about the halo thing, something that I love to do, mine is invisible, but I have this invisible bubble that I put up every morning during my meditation. And it's a soft bubble, and this is what I teach people as well, but I allow negativity to bounce off of my bubble and go back out into the world and dissolve. So I don't take it in internally anymore. So family gatherings, for example, around the holidays, right? Or friends.
They can be the toughest.
Right. That's why I bring that up. So we're always around people during the holidays, it seems, that we're not normally around. How do you deal with that? There's a reason, you know what I mean? So I always put up my bubble then. And when that person starts walking towards me, I actually send love their way. And when they start talking the negativity, I visualize that negativity actually bouncing off of my bubble and whoop, going out to the other.
Do you remember as a kid, the little expression, I'm rubber and you're glue, whatever you say?
Yes, exactly.
Bounces off me and sticks to you.
It's true.
I feel like I should have learned these lessons.
You did. Well, I think that's what that's exactly right. Because I know all of us were born knowing all of these things.
Right,
and it's just when we allow the outside world to take over that, you know, so that's what this is based on, is the self-perception.
So tell people where they can find your book. And
you can find it on my website, CathleenMiner.com, also on Amazon. And really quick, I just want to mention a charity that I am founder and president of in the United States. It's called Helping Handbags USA. A friend of mine started a version of this over into the UK, and so I thought I would cater it to the USA. We donate once loved handbags filled with necessities to women getting back on their feet again that are living in shelters. And so these women, a lot of them are there with their children, or they're in an abuse shelter. And for me, you know, everybody has our own version of downtimes in our lives. And for me, you know, mine, there's been ups and downs. We all have them. I can't just pinpoint one. But, you know, when I was a single mom, and it was hard. So I had supportive people around me. So I can't imagine actually being homeless and being in that position. So I love when we can give back, because the power of hope, like, don't ever underestimate the power of hope. Like, it just takes that one little twinge of hope. And that's what I love about the handbags, is the looks on their faces. And it's just like,
Where can we learn more about
that? Also on my website. So CathleenMiner.com, and there's a tab that says charities, because we are actually spreading this. We have our 501c3 now.
Oh, good.
Okay, yeah. So that was awesome. Yeah, it is. So we can now spread it out to the different states. So we had to wait for that. We've got some other states already on board. Right now, it's just full swing in Florida, because that's where I live.
Thank you so much for all the work that you do.
Yeah, thank you.
And making a difference in the world. Thank you so much. Stay tuned.
Thanks for having me.